You are listening to Unequaled with JC Carroll and Ajay Salveson. But first, our friends, the Painted Roses.
Coach, how about you? I mean, you've had some pretty tough conversations with some kids about, they want to play, they're talented. You always had a deep depth pool of talent.
Yeah.
What was your conversations like with those kids? And
And that's basically it. The opportunity is always there. And we tell them all the time, I mean, every day you're building your resume. And if it's practice, if it's weightlifting, if it's open gym stuff or anything like that, you're doing that. And when the talent's so close, that is a big difference maker. And honestly, if the people that show up to all this extra stuff and so on, put some time in on their own and everything like that, they'll separate themselves. It usually happens. And there is people that want everything and not give anything, and so you got to let them know about that.
You were talking about the Zimmermans. You ever had the guts of bench Ryan Zimmerman? 2003, we're playing at Roy in a 3-game series. Win the first 2 games. Ryan misses game number 2 because he was being inducted into the National High School Football Hall of Fame. Big deal. But coach had made it clear that, hey, it's either yourself or it's a team. But you got to choose. But we don't tell you what, we're not going to tell you how to make your choices. Well, Ryan missed game 2. We played game 3 at Roy. Roy was a pretty good team. They were a problem for us. Ivy, Nick Illison, had pitched game 2 for us through a gym. We played game 2, and it's a barn burner. Like, we're in a dog fight with these guys. Ryan hadn't seen the field all game long. He sat the bench. He had a conversation with me in the dugout, and I wouldn't tell you that conversation was on this podcast. He wasn't very happy. And I remember coach put him in to end the game to save us for us.
Closed for us, yeah.
I think we won 6-5 in that game. Next day, Ryan, I talked to Ryan a little bit, and I always go to coach's office, and coach was so good at being like, there's something on LJ's mind. Like, he's got information I need to know about it. So he'd be like, RJ, what's on your mind? I'd be like, nothing, coach. And he goes, RJ, talk to me. What's going on? What are they saying out there? And I was like, Coach, Ryan's pissed. Like, he feels like he should have been out there. He's the best player on this team. We're undefeated. The game was on the line. And he says, well, RJ, was Ryan at game number 2? We're like, no. And I said, but he's in the National High School Football Hall of Fame. And coach says, do you know I missed Jory's first soccer goal? I missed Trace's first hit. Like, I've missed a bunch of things because I had a job to do. And Ryan chose to go and do this instead of being with the team. I can't reward someone from that. Decisions like that, is that something you already had set in your mind long before that? Like, look, either you're with us, and if you're not going to, that's your choice, but just know you're not going to be a part of, this game.
Yeah, for sure. That was a rule, and that was one of our policies. If you miss, then you got to sit out the next game or not start the next game, I believe is what was said. And he chose to do it. And, yeah, I wasn't very popular among the Zimmerman household at that time or so on. But doing stuff like that also, gains you some respect and stuff from other families and
100%
players and so
100%.
on and that. But that's what we had to do. But, yeah, when the game got on the line, Ryan found himself getting there. Ryan was, he was one of a kind. He was awesome.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just something we had to do. Was it easy? Not even close.
But you always said, I think you said in my memory's so stupid, I remember dumb things, but I remember coach said in the post-game quote that, look, like, even if you're not playing, we expect you to be ready, like, all the dog. When I call your name, I expect you to come out, whether it's pinch it or come in and save a game. If you're not playing, you should be ready when I call your name.
Yes. Exactly.
And does that come from practice then? Or,
it's just trying to keep them in the ball game and hopefully them understand that everybody's important. Even if you're not doing it at that time, maybe, half an hour down the road, you might be the guy. You might be the one, and you got to be ready to go do it. And so just always talk and make sure they're all ready to go when their name's called. Yeah.
No, I respect that. Now, is it easy? No.
Oh, okay. No,
you don't want. We're in the game of wanting kids to have a good experience, wanting kids to play. Like, we don't look for reasons for kids not to play. I know he wasn't like, oh, here's my chance to play.
Yeah.
It's
No,
like,
I wanted to,
like he's
without a doubt.
but you have to have a standard, and there's rules with that and consequences. And parents are sad, kids understand that from the very beginning. I mean, it hurts, and they're still gonna be upset. But it's like, look, we knew this rule your first day here on campus with us as a freshman. I wish it was that way, but I can't change it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, pool coaches, then multi-sport athletes, summer baseball, summer football, summer basketball, vacations and such. How do you guys handle that? And then in core version with spring, right? With baseball or with winter basketball, like how do you guys handle them not being able to make it to summer things, but then come springtime, do I play this kid or not? Because he wasn't there at all the open opportunities they could have had.
Well, with us, summer's a whole different thing. We understand they're busy. They are playing other sports. There's vacations. There's church things. We understand that as long as they communicate with us and so on. We're fine with that, and we don't punish people because they want to do a football thing or a basketball thing, or as long as they communicate. And we're saying that to say, like, you got to communicate that with your basketball coach too, or your football coach, or so on. But the one thing that we've done throughout the years is you can't go totally AWOL though and not show up at all. You got when you can be there, you're going to be there, type of thing. But then comes springtime when it's our season, then yeah, they don't miss, unless it's something real serious or so on. So
yeah, no, I agree. And we deal with it you never punish a kid for doing other sports. Do I wish they were with me all the time? Yes. Because we'd be a lot better. But no, like I have some girls play volleyball, and I show up Monday, and they're finishing volleyball, and they're like, JC, I want to tell them, but I got volleyball. It's like, all right, I get it. Like, it's all right. Happy to see you. When's your next game? Like, I want to come watch. Let me know when you're playing so I can come watch it. And it's like, okay. But yeah, kids are never punished for doing the other sports that they're in a way. Now, when they're not in other sports and they're not around, it's a little different. They're not punished, but it's a lot more like, look, I don't call any of my stuff optional. Stuff is, there's elite skills training tonight. Are you playing a fall sport? No? Why aren't you here? Like, then I'm a lot more, I don't know what the right word is, gruff with it or direct. Like, you have to be here. You don't do any other sports. You're here.
Very true.
Coach, we talked about, after 99, I think 1,000 you came close. 0-1, I think we won the first two games of the state tournament. We beat Mountain View of the Snow. We hit the Spanish Fork, one of the best teams in the state, beat them. Nick Gilson hit a 2-run homer after that.
I remember. Yeah.
And then when we go to the state tournament, and a couple of things. One, I realized that I was like, man, we're going to win this thing. Like, I remember we talked about the Spanish Fork game. We were on the bus, and I was like, man, Coach, I feel really good about this. I think we're going to win. And he goes, Ajay, you have no idea what you've seen yet. Yeah. I've been around the game long enough. We go to Olympus, and Ryan's pitching. When we played at BYU.
BYU, yeah.
We play Olympus, and Ryan's pitching. I'm like, we're going to freaking win this game. Like, Ryan had like a 0.92 ERA. It was unreal. And he led the state in strikeouts. He gets bashed for like 5 runs. First kid just throws a triple off of him. Second kid hit a double, and I was like, oh, fetch.
Yeah.
And then remember, so we lost that game, and then I thought, oh, we'll be fine. And then we played Springville the next night, and I don't know if you remember this, but we're up, I think, 5-4. Jory's pitching okay. 4-2, 4-3. And Jory's pitching okay. Ground ball and running. He boots it. This kid, Zach Erickson, turns from second and or not Zach Erickson, his own kid sprints home, scores on a ground ball error. Because Ryan just, kind of was moping about it. Throws late, kid scores. Next kid, Zach Erickson, comes up and hits like a 430-foot ball into left field that still hasn't landed. And all of a sudden we were knocked out of the state tournament. And I thought, holy crap, this is hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
And the next year we were undefeated, lost a Bountiful in the first round. We had to play like a 7-inning game just to get to us in like a barn burner. And we lost it in the first round. And like the whole entire Salt Lake County was thrilled. They were all so happy that Mountain Crest had lost. And then I think we lost, we had won a couple of games. We beat Bonneville for the 4th time.
Yeah, we beat Bonneville. after we lost that first game, then we had to play Spanish 4.
Again, at our place.
Yeah, and they was one of the favorites too.
That's right.
But they was upset, and so all of a sudden, two teams that was one of the favorites to win the state tournament.
This is the lesson
playing each other.
The lesson that told me. This is interesting, JC. Is that he said so. The year before, actually, sorry, the game before, we had pitched Nick instead of Ryan. We wanted to save Ryan for that second game, and Nick pitched well. He pitched really well.
Yeah, lost like 3-1 or something.
Lost 4-1.
4-1.
I don't know that. Yeah, Blowhorn. Left beat us.
Yeah.
And so when Coach told me the next day, he said, "I will never ever not throw my number one guy again on the first game."
Yep, and I stuck to that rule throughout. If our number one guy's available to pitch that first game, it's like
Always pitch.
always got to pitch him. And I learned that it's not because the other, like Nick, he threw great. It wasn't because of that, but I think it was the confidence you gave the other team because they was coming in. Oh, Ryan's pitching. We can, and all of a sudden, they're not throwing their number one guy against us. They got it, and I could kind of feel that. And from that on, I always was like, if he's available, we're going to pitch him, the first game, no matter what, no matter.
Yeah,
So
we threw Ryan in game 2 against Spanish Fort, and Ryan got hit hard in that game too.
Yeah.
I think we were down 4-0 or something like. I can't remember what it was, but ended up scoring a bunch of runs late in the game and beating Spanish Fort for the second year in a row.
Yeah.
Then lost against Cyprus, I think.
So we went 2 or 3 games after.
Yeah, and you beat Bonneville in the suicide squeeze.
Yeah.
Sent the slowest kid from third home. And then after that, it was just kind of like, it was tough for you to get back to the state championship. And when you finally did, you get that close and it doesn't happen. It probably had to be exhausting for you.
No, you just keep plugging away and keep trying to be successful and, teaching kids and, it's that. And you got to realize, you're not, like I say, you're not going to win every year. You just got to be one of those teams.
Be in the conversation.
Yeah.
09, you do win it. And I remember this, Kyler Webb went through like the most roller coaster I think I've ever seen a player go through. Was this the same day too? Gave up the grand slam to lose it. And then was it that same day against Dixie? Or
against Provo?
It's Provo.
So we lost in a grand slam walk-off against us and Dixie were the 2 undefeated. Lost in the walk-off grand slam. Then we had to turn around and play Provo.
And then hits a walk-off home run to win it. Or is it, no, it wasn't a home run.
It was basically a triple. It was bases loaded.
Yeah.
Double or whatever, and drove in all 3 runs and sent us to the championship games. And we had to beat Dixie twice the next day.
Which one was more thrilling for you to win, 99 or 09?
Well, they're all thrilling. They all got their little special place, I guess, or whatever. 99 was fun just because there's that division. We had to bring the teams together and everybody together and so on. I believe we did that, and that's satisfying. The 09, the players were just awesome. And I really enjoyed that with the players, and they deserve to win, and, that sort of stuff. And that. So yeah, that's what I remember.
2012, you retired so you can spend more time with your kids. Trace, I think, was just starting to play for Mountain Crest. Was that right? Or
that's Trace's senior year. So in 09, he was a freshman.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2012 was my last year.
How many freshmen dressed for you in varsity in your career?
Probably none until him. And at first, we didn't have him on the team. And we sent it to St. George, and all my coach was like, "You got to put him on the team just because he's your kid. Don't punish, I just like, I don't know, They talked me into it, and so I actually got the team together. I said, "Hey, we're going to bring up a player. He's a freshman." They all knew who it was, and so on. And honestly, for Trace, his career is the best thing for him personally, for him to sit there and watch and be among that team.
What it takes.
So on. For him personally, it was great for him.
I'm going to be so polite and correcting you. You're actually wrong. You dressed another one. His name was Nick Salveson, who was my brother.
Yeah, he probably.
I was a senior, got cut, and then I remember my mom came to me. I remember this night. I think it was a Sunday night. My mom came to me and said, "Hey, Coach Hansen's coming to the house, and I want you to go downstairs and not come up." And I was like, "What the hell's going on? Like, why can't I come up?" And they're like, "Just don't come up." So I go downstairs, and I shut my door. Coach Hansen comes in, and it felt like an eternity, but that's maybe like 10 minutes later. Mom calls me upstairs. Nick's sitting there with a varsity baseball uniform in his hand. And I was like,
yeah, I remember that.
what are you doing with that? And he's like, I'm dressed in varsity. And I pretended like I was really happy, but I was genuinely pissed. Like, just truly pissed. And do you know what's great about you, Coach, was that you were always front and honest about it. Like, I came the next day and I was like, Coach, really upset. Like, I don't know why Nick's dressed in varsity. He goes, it's because he's a good ball player. Yeah. And we need good ball players on this team. Yeah. And he said, Audrey, you're an important part of the team, just in a different way. And it was like the best lesson I could learn, because people will sugarcoat the shit out of that. But you were like, no, it's just look, you're an important part of the team. We need you here. I need you. And you're included in everything that we do. But Nick needs to be on this baseball team. And it was one of the best lessons I could have learned, and I can't thank you enough for just your honesty in that.
Yeah.
So
that's what we try to always do, is be honest.
Bridgeland Adventure Park is closed for the 2024 summer, but that doesn't mean you can't start thinking about next summer. Bridgeland Adventure Park's already accepting reservations for group parties next year. Corporates, family groups, youth groups, you name it. Bring them all out and experience an adventure with us. Located at 722 South First Light Drive in Garden City, Utah, you can call at 435-946-2246 or visit the website at blap.rocks.
Yeah, with them.
you came back to coach after 12. You retired for how long?
4 years. So I kind of followed Trace around and watched him play some college ball. I played at BYU for 2 years and then went transferred to Texas A&M. And then that was the split. After that year, it was when originally Mountain Crest split. Yeah. And I was not looking to get back to the coach. I had no, and Terry Cullen, the principal of Mountain Crest, came and talked to me 2 or 3 times. And she talked me into it, I guess. And honestly, that's the best thing for me personally and for coaching and so on.
Why for you?
I learned a lot when I wasn't coaching. I learned a lot watching Trace because I was on the other side of the fence now as a parent. And I kind of saw what parents went through, and I saw that and the way you try not to have parent glasses on or goggles on or whatever, but it's hard not to. And then the pain and the stuff that your son goes through and how they're feeling, and it's different. And so I think when I came back, I kind of saw that more of a parent's perspective of things. I did get them a little bit more involved with like asking to help out with the field or this or that. Not in my coaching stuff, but a little bit more in the program and stuff. And I believe because before I was like, just stay away, I don't want or anything like that. So that kind of helped me. And then it was a struggle to begin with. When baseball wise, our first year we just got hammered. It was the only losing season that I was unfortunate enough, I guess, to go through, and it was tough. And it's like, I don't see how people can do this. It just throw. But then we worked and finally got them up and won a region championship within 3 years, and we went to the state tournament the next year.
Did your mentality change as a coach? Did it have to change with the kids in that latter part of your career?
Yes, I believe so. I don't feel like I did personally, but I couldn't do it. But all my coaches and everybody told me that I got soft without a doubt. And
he did soft too.
Yeah,
damn, we'll say that.
Yeah, but I feel like it had to change without a doubt. The players are more these days. They're more sensitive. They're more So you have to change with the times, but still, do your thing too, and not give in and so on.
Has social media, and I ask both of you guys this, has social media influenced the way players act and react to things that they want their highlights all over Instagram or Twitter or whatever it is? And does that affect the team at all, whatever, at least them individually or being a part of the team? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I think it does. I think it. Try to think. I think it does for some young basketball players. I see them. Some become very popular because they're athletic. They can dunk. They can. What I think it's done is, and for basketball, it's true down all the way from the NBA. Like you used to watch a guy like dunk, get up and go down the floor. Now they want to dunk. They want to stand over. They want to flex. They want to yell and scream. And it's just exhausting for me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't interview. Make a 3-pointer. They want to point or do something silly. You see it trickle down. Like we're celebrated. And then there's just, this is exhausting. And it's trickled down to these youth sports as I watch a kid score a touchdown.
Yeah.
And he wants to, he's 7 years old and he wants to gritty. And it's like, okay, we're having fun. We're having a good time. But, there was a really good kid. They were talking a six-year-old kid he's better than every other 6-year-old. He's making baskets, and he's going down the court, hitting his chest and stuff like that. I wasn't taught to play like that.
Yeah.
I never played like that. Like, there were times of pure joy and enthusiasm, but that stuff, for what I see, like, social media has made that more abundant for kids that they think that's the right way to play, and it's too hard for me.
So that's true in baseball.
Without doubt.
It's so annoying to me too. Like, we'll hit a double and they got to do something for the double.
Yeah, his dad
Stop.
on this and that. I'm running the South Cast Stallions now, a baseball club for 8 years old on up to 14. So I go to their games and stuff, and just like JC was saying, that they're 8, 9 years old and they hit a double and they have to do all this stuff, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on, you hit a double. That's good job.
Yeah.
Let's do something. Yeah.
Wasn't that?
Yeah. This.
But you see it in the pros now too. Like, I see the pros, and I'm like, they can't just hit a home run and go around the bases. They have to hit a home run and do something.
Yeah. It's all getting your so-called image out there, or what you can do to get the likes or whatnot. The social media recruiting wise has helped out, I believe, a little bit with some recruiting, especially in baseball where they don't have the budgets to like travel around all over to scout, and for those smaller schools and so on like that. But it also drives me crazy when I always look and say, okay, here's some swings. I went 3 for 4 at the double and this and that, but I want to say, but how did your team do? Type of thing, and so on. And I always look, and he went 3 for 4, but their team just slots, 8 to 2. Or something like that. And that's what gives me. So we tell our players, and Trace does a really good job with this. He understands the social media a lot more, but like we have kids being highly recruited and so on. And it's like, hey, mention your teammates. Like, hey, behind great defense, I pitched a 2-gator, that sort of stuff. Or so I mention that a little bit. That's not just you, about it's you, but yeah.
That goes a long way. In the basketball world in high school, I made a lot of baskets. I scored a lot of points. It was easy for me to be called a ball hog and stuff like that. And I really worked through it. Like, hey, JC, you scored 50 points tonight. What do you think? Well, I'm so happy I got Ryan Ball that threw me the ball and found it for me. Ryan Reeves, he rebounded the ball really well today.
Yeah.
He got me opportunities. I'm just glad I got a coach that puts me in opportunities to go out and play. And by the way, we won the game. Like, that was the number one goal, to win the game. And, so I got pretty good at deflecting some of those individual things. And I don't know that that's necessarily the case all the time with players. It is. I went 3 for 4 and I crushed it.
Did that mentality take off for you immediately? Like, it's a team game. It's not just me?
Because my dad beat it into me.
Yeah.
Son, you will be humble. Son, you'll be humble or you'll be humbled. Was kind of my message and that I received the kids. So, I was like, I got my head down and play. And looking back, there are times I wish I interacted with the Utah State fan base a little bit more, the student section.
Yeah.
Because they're fun.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't. The day I broke the record, it was the most awkward. They stopped the game. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, spotlight's on.
I was just like, I was so uncomfortable in that situation. Like, I not playing, but when that spotlight went down to like, hey JC, this is great. Like, it was so awkward because I wasn't taught to do that.
And for me, we've been a season ticket holders for basketball for 20 plus years, and we saw that as fans with JC that he always, and that's how come I think we're so really respected around this community and the fans and so on. It wasn't me. Yeah, I got my stuff, but here's this team, and they don't get playing for great teams, and I did play for the teams, great coach and everything. So thank you. It's a lot, and that's so.
Terry Nilton and her team at Gill Mortgage of Logan, Utah are committed to great customer service even after your loan closes. Karen and her team want you to experience knowledge, communication, and building that long-lasting business relationship. Make Guild Mortgage your trusting partner.
I want to ask you something. JC mentioned this about being, coaches and players' relationships going beyond high school. I asked about our situation. Kyler Webb was hired as a Green Canyon baseball coach.
Yes.
He asked me to be his assistant, so I went on staff with him. I actually left the Utah Jazz Radio Network to go be an assistant high school baseball coach, which is mind-numbing still to this day that I did it. But I learned a lot, and I enjoyed every experience. But this is our first year, okay? Very first year Green Canyon's open. We're only 14 games into the season. I get a phone call that go to the high school, and they had fired Kyler in our first year.
Yeah.
And we weren't successful. We weren't a good baseball team.
Well, it wasn't really. Most everybody went to Skyview.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good.
It wasn't a good setup, and
Yeah.
let's go with my next topic here in a bit.
Yeah.
It was just a bunch of kids who didn't know how to play together or never played together, some of them, and we didn't have all the great talent, and some of these kids just didn't know how to play. Like we're coaching the basics, man. And so anyways, Kyler gets fired midway through the year. We have a series, ironically, like the next day, we have a 3-game series with Mountain Crest.
Yeah.
And I remember game 1, and I remember at Mountain Crest, we lost game 1. And after the game, you always do a great job, of course, shaking hands. One of the administrators was in our dugout, which was just so unnecessary and unacceptable, but they allowed it. Walks out to go shake the coach's hand, and he meets with Steve first, and I knew what was coming. And I remember you laid into him pretty good. And I remember one of the parents later on told me, why didn't I step in? And I said, because he needed to hear what Coach Hansen had to say. Can I just ask you about that situation of standing up for Kyler and why you did it and like your thought process with all that, if I could?
Yeah, Kyler, he came through our baseball program. I've known him for years, even when I was young coming up. He had a brother, Jackson, that played for us, and just all the way up, and he loved baseball. Yeah, and he was good at it, and he knew the game and so on. And they gave him this chance of Green Canyon, and like I said, that they wasn't good. Tommy Lasorda, whoever couldn't have coached that team to victories, but they could get him better. That's what Kyler was doing, and the administration just listened to some parents and so on like that. I felt like, during the season, to fire somebody in that situation was just not right.
Did they ask for you for a referral on him, by the way?
Oh yeah.
So that probably essentially the most then fucking referral. You took your time.
Yeah. So I told him about it after the game, and maybe it wasn't the right time or place to do it, but I did, and so yeah, this, I guess, sticking up for one of your old players, and me and Kyler, we have a great relationship.
Absolutely. I remember he's coach, I'm going to call it petty, but after the year, he texted all the region coaches out. For some reason, was in this thing about, hey, who do you want, like his first team, or nominate his first team region, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I sent him a name. In this coaching group text, he sends back a message, Green King will have no nominations. Next time, don't fire a coach halfway through. And I was like, well, you freaking moron. I didn't fire him. In fact, I got put in the situation after, like, they asked me to come up, and I was head coach of the freshman team. They said, hey, we need you to help with varsity stuff.
Yeah.
We don't want
you submitted that spot.
And it was so hard.
Yeah.
And I realized how hard your guys' job is and how much I hated it. I hated coaching. I didn't enjoy it one bit. Because you couldn't be what you were back in the thousands. Like, I took your mentality as a coach, and I'd use that. And these kids were like, whoa. Like, how come you're making us run pulls or fielding? I'm like, because you can't field a ground ball. Like, I made a kid run a pull because he crapped his pants at second base. Like, I'm going to make you run a pull for that. Like, and I just couldn't do it. And I hated coaching, and I hated it. And the kids were great. And I love the kids, but the logical, thing of coaching, I couldn't do it. That's when I learned how bad I hated it and how much appreciation I had for you and what you dealt with and what you deal with too as a coach. Like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, there's a whole lot more to coaching than what people see. They just see out there on the field. It consumes you. It's good.
It does.
I had a long thought.
I thought it could make it not consuming.
Yeah.
And it just, I was like, look, I've done this. I've done basketball. I can show up to practice, be ready to go with a plan, and then walk away.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't. I would sit in the gym for another hour and think about what to do the next day. Then I'd sit at the counter and I'd be watching game film. I wish I didn't, but that's not my personality, I guess.
Yeah, it does. But that's what's going to make you successful. You know, anything you do is, it's got to be a passion for sure. So,
Cool. You go ahead.
Let's do some rapid fire.
Yeah.
We've had them for a while.
Absolutely.
We got to let it go.
yeah.
Okay, but I got a few things. One, what's your favorite moment you've had? What's your favorite? If you had to strip it down, I've got mine right there. That's my one single. Those were good. That was a moment I can go back to. What is one moment that you could go back to? You're like, that was amazing.
Look, of course, the state championships always go back, and there's all that. But I don't know about if it's one single moment. But when I look back on it, it's just the family atmosphere that we try to instill on everything, and then plus my family was always involved. They just grew up on the field. They grew up raking the dirt and so on. But there's a lot of great moments. It's hard to put my finger on one of it, but just growing up, how my kids grow up and in the game of baseball, and they're continuing on. Tracy's continuing on. It's just awesome that way. So yeah.
All right, I love that. And then this is a 2-part question. Baseball has unwritten rules. What is your favorite unwritten rule, and what is like the one that you're like, this needs to go away?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of unwritten rules. In the major leagues, they take it in their own hands. It's hard in high school to tell somebody to drill somebody or so on. But I don't like myself, like, say that you just get beat or so on, that drives me crazy is another team shaking hands or celebrating on your mound.
Gotcha.
Do it on the side or something like that. That kind of bothers me, for sure. And just, the favorite ones, there's baseball players are so superstitious. It's unbelievable. Of course, you can't step on the white lines or anything like that or so on. But yeah, there's just all sorts of little things that way. But as a groundskeeper, also, I guess I'm a groundskeeper. But anyway, when people take out the base for somebody to drag it, and they put the base upside down, so the top of the base is laying on the grass. That drives me crazy. Other than leaning it on the post, or what, why that's a rule or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, that. Yeah, so just little things like that.
I love that.
So yeah.
All right, I have a young lady that plays softball, and she plays basketball for me as well.
Yeah.
I need you to somehow put in context how difficult this is to do. So she didn't come to a basketball practice this last week, and I'm like, hey, what's up? Where are you going? I had a softball game, she says. I go, well, how'd it go? Did you get any home runs? Is what I asked her. She goes, you got 4.
Oh, yeah?
I said, how many at-bats did you have? She said 4. How difficult is that?
Very difficult.
Oh.
Yeah, very difficult.
Help me wrap my head around it.
Yeah, that is extremely difficult. I mean, most people don't hit that in their career.
And she wasn't bragging about it, and she was like almost, she thought I was mad because she wasn't like, hey, Sage, that's amazing.
That's great, yeah.
Please tell me those things. Yeah. Like, I want to know those things. They're interesting. So, yes, like, she went 4 for 4 home runs her last.
Because if she did, you'd be like, well, one time I ran 20 years
No.
I just worked 50 points.
That only happened once. That'd be awesome. I'm just kidding.
I will tell you, as a coach, like, I was fortunate enough to have basically the same coaches throughout my whole career for the most part. And there's a lot of them are still there. And we do try our best to go to all the different sports. Football games, we always barbecue out by our press spawn. So we're sitting on the hill as a family. So cool. Now we got grandkids running around all over and so forth like that. So we definitely, and we want to celebrate.
Yeah.
Our players play other sports and their accomplishments and stuff like that.
Hey, has the talent been watered down in the region, the valley? Because I think JC could have been coaching Emily Skinner.
Yeah.
That mind boggles me. And I think some of the teams you would have had in baseball, if you would put them with Ridgeline together, would have won state championships 2-3 in a row. Has the talent been watered down? Has it hurt the community in regards of athletics?
Yes, compared to back before the split, we got Ridgeline and Green Canyon. So we got 5 high schools now, instead of the 3 up here in the valley. Of course, the valley's bigger, and there's more kids to choose from. It's all like that. But the talent is definitely more watered down now than it was 10, 15 years ago. before that, but it's getting a lot better than it was to begin with, and just because of the population up there and so on. And we always say, you know, our biggest thing in baseball is battling those St. George schools. Those St. George schools are they're unbelievable baseball program. The Snow Canyon, for instance, one of them. And so we've always done everything we had to go try to beat those guys, Snow Canyon, those guys. And then we split, and then we had to restart again, and they split Mountain Crest into two. But now we still got to go down there and try to beat Snow Canyon, and nothing's changed for them.
Well,
You know, so that they're getting the same. And they're building a new high school now down there that's going to try to split, but with transferring and all that.
Who knows this?
But it's given a lot more opportunity, and I think, like we've talked about players that's come through ours, is that we put in a lot of time on these average players, so we can get up there. And maybe if we did split, they would have been pushed aside because we have the player, and some of these guys went on to be college baseball players, and so on, successful. So it's helped out that way too. So
I like that perspective. I've never really looked at it like that. But yes, some of those average players or average talent that wouldn't have got the attention, all of a sudden got the attention and opportunities.
yeah, exactly. It's a really
good way to look at it.
become good ball players.
I like that.
Moving on and so on. So yeah.
Former Skyview quarterback and Utah State football walk-on Ted Stokes has established the #1 bankruptcy law firm in the state of Utah. Stokes' law playbook is helping individuals and businesses overcome tough financial situations. If you are facing garnishment, repossession, foreclosure, or just overwhelming debt, give Stokes Law a call at 435-213-4771 or visit their website at stokesbankruptcy.com. That's stokesbankruptcy.com. Stokes Law is a debt relief agency and provides guidance under the United States Bankruptcy Code.
This is for JC. Final question. You got to tell one prank you guys played with me.
One? It's hard to remember. Dude, my biggest one.
If I have trust issues, just because of this guy.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of different things we do in baseball. You know, we tell them to, you know, and we do it along with the freshmen and stuff. Like, hey, can you go down to the office and get the box of curveballs? You know, and a freshman will go down there and look all and back up and say, I can't find the curveballs or whatever. But anyway, I believe we was at Snow Canyon that time.
You're on team too.
And it was the batter's box, right?
No, this was the fungo.
Okay, so we went down to St. George. It's our trip, and Reed Seacrest which is their Snow Canyon coach, we're good friends, and I sent Ajay. I said, hey, go over and tell our coach that we forgot our left-handed fungo.
Do you know what a fungo is?
The fungo's a bat that coaches hit ground balls with.
Okay,
it's an easier bat.
So it's like a baseball bat.
You know, yeah, it's a fungo, and I said, hey, go see if we can borrow their left-handed fungo because we forgot ours. And so he goes walking over, and of course, you know, a bat's a bat. There's not left-handed, right?
Yeah.
He goes over there, and talking, and of course, Reed, their coach, caught on. He played along with it really good, and not years.
I go over and my head coach, and he goes, yeah. I'm like, sorry, I'm the equipment manager for Utah State. We need a left-handed fungo. And the coach is like, and he looks over behind, and Nick Lilly's assistant's just rolling down the hill. Coach has this big grin, and he's like, I got 5. And I'm like, Coach, he's got 5. I'm like, can we borrow one? And Coach is like, RJ, get back here now.
Start playing along and so on. But that was just fun. There's things like,
batter's box.
Yeah, make sure you grab the key of the batter's box.
And I went looking in the shed for a key.
Yeah.
Someone got to come grab. He was like, dude, think about it. Batter's box. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, so just a few things. I'm sure there's different ones.
Hans, I know you want to do this because you do such a great job of doing it, but I want you to have a chance to thank your coaches, your wife, who is the backbone of your baseball program, just to support that all gave you.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Jill is the backbone. She was always there and is still there, and just getting the families involved. You know, the talk, and she's definitely the talker of the family and kind of smooth things out and so on. And she's well known throughout the baseball community and here and so on. And our coaches, just great coaches, and my success, if it's success or whatever, but what we've had was, you know, you gotta have great coaches. You know, and throughout the years, my coaching staff has been unbelievable, and I pride myself in is that we had the basic same coaching staff throughout my career. You know, of course, some had to move on or this or that, but you see a lot of high schools and stuff, you know, just go through their assistant coaches like every year there's somebody different and so on. But I was lucky enough to keep the main course. And then I tried my best, you know, to let my assistant coaches coach. Hey, you're in charge of the catchers. Rich Gittens was in charge of the catchers, and he took it to heart.
Yeah, he did great.
And we had, I don't know how many all-state catchers throughout the years.
He was good.
But that was his thing, and he did it, and so on, and you know, if he did.
And Nick Lindley was great, the outfielders, too.
Nick Lindley was great for outfielders. We got, you know, everybody. I always forget somebody, but
Brad Parkinson was
early on, and you know, Dustin Smith
has been a great for
and
to play for this.
And he's still coaching with Trace, and of course Trace, Waylon Hervey, and you know, he's there now, and
Waylon's. I
all the
respect for him.
If I'm missing one, Zach Breakerhoff came in and did, you know, and different things. But I was very fortunate with good coaches.
Coach, we were very fortunate today. Thanks for sharing time with us, and thanks for letting me spend 4 years with you and letting me be a part of your program. I know it's a very prestigious and elite program, so for you to let me be a part of it, I appreciate it. So thank you.
No, thank you. This is fun just to sit here and reminisce and to be with you guys and spreads as you're doing stuff like this and
get some good tips.
So anyway,
you better win a state championship. Now it's on you for the year.
Yeah, sure. No, it's fun. So
thank you, Coach.
Anyway.
Thank you, JC. Appreciate it. You guys can find our podcast on Spotify and Apple. And we'll be talking to you next week. For JC Carroll, Coach Steve Hansen, I'm AJ Salveson. You've been listening to Unequaled.
Get me to feel this way. I think I'll be coming home. It's been such a long time. Oh, I think I might have made one too many a mistake. If you help me find my way, I promise I'll do the same one day. We had